Andy Farrell and Wigan on the left, Leeds on the right. We are now just seconds away from the start of the JJB Super League Grand Final. That's why Old Trafford tonight is just about packed to the rafters. How tense is this? But out they come. Well and truly in the closet.
The noise that this crowd is making at this point in time is absolutely deafening. What a superb setting for a great occasion. I've said it for years, the last game of the season should be the most important.
And this one most certainly is. So the pre-match entertainment is over. That has been spectacular. Now Old Trafford waits and wonders. And what a night for the newly crowned referee of the year, Russell Smith. For the second year in a row, he's the top whistleblower. And Russell Smith is the man in control of this match. He said on Wednesday, so long as the game goes well, he will enjoy every moment of it tonight. And only after the final siren will Russell Smith's celebration for his wonderful season get underway. So, it's the 1998 inaugural Super League Grand Final. 23 weekly rounds, 3 weeks of playoffs, and now we're left with the top two in the country. Iestyn Harris and the Leeds Rhinos, coached by Graham Murray, against Andy Farrell's Wigan Warriors, coached by John Money. It's going to be Wigan who will get the grand final underway. Off we go! High kickoff. And here is Farrell, Anthony Farrell, and the first tackle of the grand final made by Lee Gilmore and Robbie McCormack. The match, seconds old. Glanville drives it up for the Leeds Rhinos. That's Newton into the arms of Harris, who puts the ball down, and the referee says it was a knock-on, and so it was. First mistake of the grand final.
Combination of the pressure there, and even the experienced fullback Iestyn Harris, the lead skipper, you could see he took his eyes off that football.
Well, that's just what Leeds didn't want. Wigan in possession midway inside the Leeds half. That's Connolly. He takes the tackle from Darryl Powell. Iestyn Harris's heart now will be missing a beat. This is Radlinski. Great tackle on him by Blackmore. Mark Bell is the man in at dummy half. A flat run as the Leeds defence move forward. Good play from Masella and Fleary.
Good defence. You could see that Leeds, they're moving up as one unit. Look at that.
Short pass. And Holgate collected the tackle from Godden. 4 tackles gone. This is the young player of the year, Lee Gilmore. He gets away from one, but he can't get away from the next two. And John Money, the Wigan coach, who's seen it all before, down under. 1986 with Parramatta, he won a grand final. High hanging kick from Farrell to test Harris again. This time, the man of steel is safe under the bomb.
Just a little bit too far there, but they are the tactics in these conditions. And you could see also that when Farrell got into a position to kick, he was well out of the way. No chance for Leeds forwards to get to him.
Now it's the job of the Leeds forwards to drive the ball upfield. Newton, infield it goes to Darren Fleary, and Fleary drives it in. The Wigan defence this time stands firm. Only one previous final experience here for this Leeds side as Morley hands hammers the ball up the middle again for Leeds.
That's a type of running that Leeds need. Morley is one of their star players. He nearly got through that half tackle there.
Glanville dummy half to Harris, and Harris will run it, but first he'll give it to Powell, and Powell will dink it over the top. Radlinski perfectly positioned, and Powell following up gets to the fullback.
Bit high. Darryl Powell, the Leeds standoff, certainly went over the top there. Crack, and the fullback head goes back. Radlinski, well, we knew it was going to be tough, we knew it was going to be rough. And the experienced standoff, Darryl Powell, has really set the scene now.
Well, he knows what Old Trafford's all about.
What a hit there. Fleary got the shoulder in.
And Holgate felt it. McCormack dummy half. Henry Paul gives it some width to Gilmore. Glanville was on to him quickly with Godden. Henry Paul again at dummy half. Here now Jason Robinson. Almost through. Great tackle by Farrell. He nearly evaded Fleary. This is Farrell, Andy Farrell. He brought the big man Danny Moore onto the football, but Leeds were waiting for him.
Well spotted by the hooker there, Terry Newton. Knew it was a short pass coming back on the inside. Wigan trying to do the crisscross early.
This is Connolly, stabs it into the corner looking for Robinson. Harris comes across and aquaplanes and collects the ball for Leeds.
Super kick through, but wonderful work by the fullback. Watch how he puts his body between Connolly and the football. That is outstanding stuff.
Wigan offside at the play the ball. Penalty to Leeds.
Leeds will be quite happy, and you can see that there were 4 or 5 well and truly in front of Russell Smith, the referee. But Leeds would be better served just to calm things down a little bit.
Big hit by Tony Mestrov. Masella would have felt that. Here now is Fleary, one of the big hitters of the Super League this year. Terry Newton, Mark Glanville.
Leeds playing it very tight, hanging on to the football at the last moment to get over the advantage line.
Sheridan, good ball to Harris. Harris drags Godden back on his inside. Great tackle from Andy Farrell. Here now is Adrian Morley. It lasted just 23 minutes of the match at Central Park. Wigan were glad to see the back of him. But he's out there tonight, and it's now with Sheridan. Here's Harris, and Harris will hang the kick out wide looking for Blackmore. But Mark Bell claims it for the Wigan Warriors.
Nice kick, good work also there by Bell, but also by this guy, Danny Moore. See how Moore put himself in between Blackmore so he could not get to the winger. Well, they're rolling out the tactics very early, but as we mentioned, wet conditions, the kicking game will be so important.
Big hit, Masella. McCormack gives the ball to Terry O'Connor. He gets to his feet, plays it to McCormack again, then it goes then to Henry Paul. Henry Paul, match winner at Central Park 2 weeks ago, drags Wigan to the halfway line. Last tackle here, it's with Tony Smith. He will just heave it over the top, out of it towards the corner, but that will surely, will it? Yes, it will go dead in goal. Skipped away on this greasy surface.
Well, the halfback Tony Smith obviously going to share the field kicking role with his skipper Andrew Farrell, but on that occasion just a little bit too long.
Well, Wigan beat Leeds here 69-12 in the 1995 Premiership final in the pre-Graham Murray days, just a week after beating them at Wembley. I rather fancy, and I don't want to tempt fate, but I don't think it'll be 69-12 tonight.
For once, I might have to agree with you there, Eddie. And the way that both defences are moving up quickly, it could be very tight indeed. Low-scoring game. Now then, will Leeds drive to perhaps go for the 1 point? Pretty far way out.
This is Harris. They're running this. It's on the power play. The chip through. Flicked it back. Harris. It's not wiped down at the tackle count. The referee held his hand up above his head and said that was the last. This is Robinson. Tracked all the way by Masella.
Been a while since we've seen Jason Robinson produce one of those long-range efforts, scoring tries. They've kept him quiet for the latter part of this season.
Well, I must say, from up here, the pitch looks in magnificent nick. I wonder what it's like down there. Bill?
It's holding up pretty well, Eddie. The rain has eased off. It's still raining slightly. The good news is that the wind has died, so conditions are probably better than they have been for quite a lot of the day, and remarkably few handling errors out there. The ball skidding around, though, as we've seen. We've also seen the first flare-up of the game. A little off-the-ball incident. Mark Bell and Anthony Farrell just having a little set to. The touch judge was on quickly to sort them out.
I don't think we'll see the last of that. It's so tense. Farrell with ball in hand, puts boot to it. Just evades Harris. He's going to have to run this one back, is he? No, it's a very shallow in goal, only about 5 metres. And so that ball was able to just run over the dead ball line. Justin Harris, coolest man in Old Trafford.
Second occasion within 2 minutes that just a little bit too strong with the kicking game from Wigan, but again you could see quite clearly the way that John Money, the Wigan coach, is asking his skipper Andrew Farrell to make sure that it's 3 or 4 men out wide so that he can get the chance to get a kick in. What a big hit there!
Blackmore felt that on Moore, but Leeds have got the penalty. A second little effort at the ankle of Richie Blackmore. Bang, though, how about that?
Well, good effort there, Blackmore. I think that Danny Moore came off second best there, and the big Kiwi centre was quick to get on. He gets the penalty.
Holgate penalised. So here come Leeds again with Masella.
Well, they were walking a tightrope with that pass. You could see that the referee, Russell Smith, was in a good position. It was 50-50.
Defence is generally on top at the moment. The forward slugging it out. Here's Morley. Buzz around the ground when Adrian Morley gets the ball. This is Harris taking over at dummy half. Hands on. Tries to coax the ball out wide. Fool the Wigan defence. Newton to Sheridan. Leeds on the attack. Good run from Sheridan. He finds Masella. This is Blackmore. Rivette's out wide. Blackmore strong in the tackle. Flicks it back. And Leeds have it back. And there's a late flop there.
Went in very late. Very late indeed. We could do without that. Now there was already a Leeds hand on the little halfback Tony Smith. It was Danny Moore that had him fall away there, and then they went to him, and just in the field of play, Masella came very, very heavy. And there you see it, Rivette had his hand on him, so therefore the tackle had been completed, and the big prop forward did not miss him.
Penalty to Wigan. McCormack restarts, finds Smith. This is O'Connor. O'Connor dances away from Morley, flips a risky pass to Mestrov. Under pressure from Godden, the Wigan prop forward somehow held on. Here now is Henry Paul. He gives it to Gary Connolly. Good defence from Leeds once again.
Tremendous. Graham Murray, the Leeds coach, obviously utilising the sliding defence early in this game.
Robinson, elusive. Collared though by Terry Newton.
But this is where Wigan can be dangerous. If they get the ball out wide, they can often catch the sliding defence.
Radlinski will go up the middle. Stopped dead in his tracks. A flying tackle from Anthony Farrell. McCormack. Farrell into the arms of Moore. Sensational defence from Leeds so far. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Farrell gets the kick in this time. Wisely in these conditions. Harris traps it with his boot, then takes on McCormack, who gets him low. Moore finishes him off. Here goes Leroy Rivette.
That's the third time that Wigan have failed to apply the pressure. It was a nothing kick from Andrew Farrell. Remember, last time Wigan beat Leeds in the playoff game, Farrell's game at kicking was superb. Not tonight.
Danny Moore's got a problem with the hand. He was rather concerned when Terry Newton wouldn't let go of him. Newton is at dummy half. This now is Masella who drives it in again. Big hit by Stephen Holgate. Holgate in the second row tonight. He played prop forward at Wembley. Darryl Powell gets it away to Brad Godden, and Godden is all wrapped up. Good defence from Connolly and Henry Paul. Now it's with Sheridan on to Harris, and Harris will hoist the kick into the corner. A tester here for Radlinski. Radlinski safe as houses. Wonderful take.
Superb there. Well, the crowd thinking that it should have been a penalty, but Radlinski was not effectively tackled. Great take, and you see he goes over the top. Rivette That's the reason why the Leeds player could come in yet again. This Rhinos defence is really surging forward. Look at that.
Marvellous effort from Blackmore and Powell. They're the two at the marker position, but they're caught offside, Leeds. Fleary was too quick out of the traps, according to referee Russell Smith.
Big chant from the Wigan fans here, and rightly so. Russell Smith would have none of that. There was one of the culprits, but he certainly is putting himself about. The big prop forward, Darren Fleary.
Tony Smith brings Andy Farrell onto it. Good tackle by Glanville. Wrapped up the legs of the Wigan captain. Here's Henry Paul looking busy. Remember, Henry Paul, one of 3 Wigan men on their farewell appearance, and Henry Paul making a meal of it, but claiming there was interference.
Well, not really. He really should have regained his footing before he trying to play the ball. Obviously, both coaches need a quick play the ball, try to get out wide away from this sliding defence, which both sides are utilising. But there was a little bit of a hand just hanging around, but I think you find that Paul was actually slipping, lost his balance.
Here is Anthony Farrell.
Well, we spoke about the character showing up in this game, Eddie, after a side made a simple mistake. We saw it early in the piece when the full-back Easton Harris dropped the football, eyes on the man coming towards him, but full credit to the Rhinos. They've dug deep, they've got back into the game. In fact, they appear to be controlling it.
Harris has evaded one. What a run from Harris. Oh, Harris has ghosted through. Support arrives, and Morley overran it. I think maybe there was a Wigan hand in there, but that was so close to the first try of the grand final, and Harris nearly produced it.
Back down after tackle.
Well, what a let-off there. The skills of Easton Harris on show for all to see. He tried to offload, and Robinson came to the rescue, but the way he just ghosted in into the three-quarter line there, the full-back, threw a neat little dummy, and away he went.
So Leeds the closest to the first try. 14.5 minutes gone. The 98 grand final is tied at 0-0, and 2 magnificent sides are at it, hammer and tongs, just as we thought they would be.
Well, I suppose you've got to ask yourself that after that wonderful effort from Easton Harris, maybe it would have been better to hang on to the football.
Holgate put it down. This is Sheridan.
There's the incident there. It was a short pass. They had plenty in front of him.
Oh, now it's a knock on. The touch judge is on. The touch judge is on. Referee Russell Smith has signalled a knock-on, but he's now taking a report from his touch judge on this near side.
Well, Bell just pushed a man away who had actually played the football, which was Sheridan. Rivette tried to get the ball away at dummy half.
Stop pushing and shoving. Get out of it. First thing with a push.
You could hear there the official Russell Smith saying to the winger Mark Bell, stop pushing and stop shoving.
Frank Hawley, the touch judge, with the red band on his flag, he came on, gave Russell Smith the necessary report, and Leeds have the first opportunity for points on the board. Referee Russell Smith did indicate knock-on, but then took the report from his touch judge.
And rightly so. A little bit of indiscipline creeping into the Wigan play there. A lot of tension in the opening 15, or should I say 16 minutes now.
This is a big kick for Easton Harris. If he kicks this, it follows exactly the pattern of the previous 2 meetings in the Super League weekly rounds. It was around about this time when we got the first points on the board in those. And Harris has just drifted it over the posts. No try. Just drifted at the last minute to the right-hand side of the left-hand upright.
Great opportunity. This is the break from Easton Harris, but you have to say, perhaps, rather than panic, it would have been better served to have held on to that football.
Anthony Farrell will run it back for Leeds, who have just started to take control of this grand final. Forcing the error from Wigan that produced that opportunity for the first points.
You can see the Wigan defence coming up out wide. They're trying to force Leeds back down the channel, down the middle. At the moment, they're succeeding. You can see Leeds on that two-play the balls, one pass and into it.
Glanville. Good run from Glanville. They got to him. Farrell and Henry Paul. Newton, they come back this way. Sheridan to Powell. He misses out Anthony Farrell and finds Blackmore. And Blackmore will take them on. Flicks it back then to Rivette. Bella's got Rivette. So close, Leeds again.
Excellent build-up there by Blackmore.
This is Sheridan. Stabs it through. Sheridan wonderfully swept up by Chris Radlinski.
That's why he's favourite to take the Great Britain #1 job. That was superb positioning. It was good effort by the little halfback Ryan Sheridan. But again, we see this eager defence. The Rhinos are really charging.
Wigan on their own line.
Oh, it was a dodgy pass there.
Holgate had to duck underneath a flying arm. And the referee has got them, I think, for the intent.
Well,
I think it was Masella, was it?
It was. The prop forward Masella went, didn't connect, and Holgate said, "I'm glad I ducked under that one." Well spotted by the official Russell Smith. We spoke earlier about the indiscipline. It will not be pleasing the coaches of either side.
Neil Cowie comes on. Tony Mestrov's in the blood bin. And there he is, the big Welsh international prop forward, Neil Cowie. His 7th consecutive appearance at Old Trafford in a major final.
Interesting to see there, Graham Murray. Should be quite happy with the fact that they started out quite shaky, but as Eddie mentioned, they're taking control of the Rhinos. And that's probably the reason why John Money has brought on Neil Cowie to try to offload the ball.
This is Gilmore. Remember, he broke the deadlock at Central Park. And it's Terry O'Connor who has gone off, not Tony Mestrov, for the Wigan Warriors into the blood bin. This is Tony Smith. He got away from Morley, but he couldn't get away from Newton. That's the last tackle. That was Mestrov at dummy half. The kick there from Radlinski. And Radlinski's ball bobbles into the arms of Harris. And Harris flings it into the arms of Rivette. Risky business, but it's come off.
Big hit there by Danny Moore, but they were very slow on the chase there. Wigan's chases on the left-hand side was good, but I'm afraid they didn't push him into the corner.
Anthony Farrell. Nick Cassidy is out there. His first match since he was suspended after the incident with this man, Adrian Morley, in the Central Park meeting. Been a long time for Cassidy to cool his heels, but he's back in the cauldron of the grand final. Harris has cut them open up the middle. Beautiful run from Harris. He bounces off one challenge, keeps on going and hangs on. The ball should have maybe been fed out wide to Rivette. Leeds, though, still aren't done. This is Sheridan. Sheridan to Blackmore. Blackmore with the first try of the grand final. First blood to the Leeds Rhinos, created by a wonderful run from Iestyn Harris. Richie Blackmore, the Kiwi, has come up with the first 4-pointer of this 1998 grand final.
The indiscipline from Wigan made sure that Leeds had the possession, and this man is on fire. Iestyn Harris, he did the right thing to hang on to the football on this occasion. He did not panic, and from the play, the ball, you can see Wigan, their defence is split all over the place. Moore went in, it left the gap for the New Zealand international, Richie Blackmore. Fine service from the halfback, Ryan Sheridan. Leeds, the fans are going absolutely bananas below us. He'd held it off. You could see how Danny Moore was just pulled in slightly, allowing that man, number 3, to score 4 points.
Sweet moment for Richard Blackmore, who was under John Money at the Auckland Warriors, and of course who played in the 1994 Premiership final for Castleford when they lost to Wigan. But he has given Leeds a priceless first try here at Old Trafford tonight. Now Harris with this conversion. And it's just drifted again the wrong side of the posts. 4-0 though, Leeds, first blood to the Rhinos.
You can see that Danny Moore is circled. He's expecting the ball to come back on the inside. And when he realises it's a quick pass from Sheridan to the big centre, he's caught. No smiles, but I can tell you inside, he will be H-A-P-P-Y. Not the same for Mr. Money.
Well, John Money won 14 trophies last time round at Wigan. A glittering chapter of Wigan's history. But here he is now with his team trailing 4-0. Holgate takes that tackle. Cassidy is the dummy half. And this is Mestrov. Sheridan and Powell. Certainly Leeds are tackling like tigers. Just before the try, Mick Cassidy came on for Robbie McCormack in the blood bin. So 2 Wigan men being patched up off the field at the moment. Let's get news of them from Bill.
Yes, Eddie, Terry O'Connor went straight to the dressing room after he came off. He looks as though he's got a nasty cut inside his mouth, and it might be a stitches job. It's going to be painful for the Wigan player. Robbie McCormack came off shortly afterwards. He's been patched up. He's on the sidelines, bandage around his forehead. I think it's a cut above his eye. I just wonder, those two happened very quickly. John Money had to make the changes, and I wonder how disruptive Wigan were. Leeds capitalised on it.
Did they ever, with Richie Blackmore's try that at the moment separates these two sides in this grand final. Wigan bringing a six-match winning sequence with them into this match. And Leeds with the 3 clean breaks to Wigan as yet with none. Morley now.
Well, I suppose you can say that Wigan, of course, it's been a long time since they've played. They can be a little bit rusty early in the game.
Morley again, Glanville. Back it goes to Godden. Good tackle by Henry Paul.
But you can take nothing away from the way that Leeds have come back, taken control. They are applying the pressure.
Harris is running at them again. Lovely ball to Blackmore, but he just lost it. Just lost it, Blackmore. I say it was a lovely ball. It actually did dip right in front of the centre.
Well, they went for the powered action there, and it was just dipping down, as Eddie mentioned, but great opportunity. And Wigan's defence now are starting to hang back. They do not know what Justin Harris is going to do every time he gets the football. He's running the angles. The fullback is taking control. He's having a mighty game.
Farrell disappears under a huge challenge from Glanville. First change by Leeds, and Jamie Matthew comes on for Masella. The Leeds super sub is out there, and there he is, straight into the tackling with the headband on, helping out Newton. No, but they got the ball away then brilliantly, and this now is Robinson with some room in which to work. Dancing run from Billy Wiz.
Beautiful play there. What a superb pass by Gary Connolly. Cowie did well to offload in the melee there. He dragged in 3 would-be defenders.
And Radlinski's gone without the ball. Leeds have got it back.
What a mistake there. As soon as his elbows hit the ground, lost control.
Chris Radlinski chiming into the line, but the ferocity of the challenge jolted the ball from his grasp, so Leeds have got it back. And this is Francis Cummins. Watched all the way by Henry Paul. Quick play the ball though to Glanville. Now Fleary, one of the Rhinos without fear, who drives it in up front. Newton is standing there at dummy half, waiting for the play the ball. Here now is Matthew. Matthew hangs on. Newton, Darryl Powell, and Wigan, fatally maybe, are hanging off the Leeds player.
They're not moving up, and that can only spell disaster.
A big kick out wide from Matthew, looking for Cummins over here. The ball is packed down to Godden. Godden then in field to Harris, still on the last tackle. Harris chips over the top again. This time though, Cummins was offside, or was it Godden?
Cummins just a metre in front, but again we see the skills that Leeds are performing, and Cummins a good metre in front of the kicker, but they realise they are utilising their kicks to really some force. Wigan, their last 4 kicks have been very poor indeed. They've not been able to apply the pressure like Leeds have.
So Wigan with some work to do, but it's only 4-0. 27 minutes or thereabouts on the watch. My word, the 27 minutes of this grand final have flown past. Such is the intensity of the match that's unfolding in front of us. McCormack back on the field, dummy half. Lovely ball to Moore. On then to Mestrop. This is Paul. Now it's Smith. Whoa, what a hit on Smith by Glanville.
Didn't miss him either. Little halfback would have felt that one. Interested to see from Wigan the first run. There was a hit. But that's the first time we've seen Robbie McCormack, the Wigan hooker, run from dummy half. Perhaps it's the message from the coach, John Money. He needs more of that.
Good kick over the top from Farrell. He finds touch all right, but the scrum will go down. This should be head and feed to Leeds, but Wigan will hunt the mistake.
John Money obviously realising that the 4 kicks prior to that one was applying no pressure, so let's get it into touch. Let's make sure that we can get our defensive quality on that rear guard and make sure that perhaps Leeds can come up with a mistake. And it nearly came there. Glanville juggled with that one.
Well, these two magnificent sides have got the perfect arena on which to display their skills, and I can tell you this is a fine crowd at Old Trafford tonight. And the rain, thankfully, has ceased. The referee has got the Leeds man, Morley, for a knock-on.
No way, missed him. I can't play advantage because...
Well, Morley lost it, and Cowie threw the ball back, and you could just hear referee Russell Smith saying, I didn't want to allow the advantage because there was none to Wigan.
Smith picks up from the base of the scrum. Morley's after him, the man who made the mistake. He gets the tackle in. Andy Farrell's the dummy half. This now is Henry Paul. Whoa! Glanville is putting himself about.
He always does, and he's getting the mark.
That's Holgate's little run, halted by the tackle from Fleary. Wigan inside the 20-metre zone. Henry Paul again. They're inching closer and closer to that Leeds try line. It's now with Tony Smith. Here's Andy Farrell. We're going to load it out wide. The dab through. Rivette has got it.
And again, it's a nothing kick. Rivette read it well. He knew the kick was coming, but it was too far. And it allowed the winger all the time in the world just to throw his body over the top of it.
This is Rivette again, fed by Blackmore. Horton just on, got the tackle in, number 12, another Wigan change, almost through the hands of Matthew, in fact it was, but picked up by Sheridan, who's fed Godden. And Godden is tackled by Jason Robinson.
Well, Leeds having a wonderful supply of football out wide, and that's what Wigan are not doing. They're finding it difficult to get the link going, but Leeds are running riot. Good, hard, solid work from the forwards, and then watch the link between the two halfbacks, Sheridan and Powell.
Well, this is the last tackle, so Harris will just flick one over the top, and that will find touch.
Quick thinking there by the Leeds skipper. Gave himself plenty of time, dissected the wingman and the full back. And with a 4-point lead in a game that many people said there would be not a big score. Chances few and far between, but Wigan really do have to lift another cog. They've got to get into another gear as quickly as possible. As the game's going on in this first half, Leeds are really taking control.
Leeds ahead 4-0. Half an hour gone. Lee Gilmore off, replaced by Simon Horton. What news of him, Bill?
Well, it's another blood bin, Eddie, and it is proving very disruptive for Wigan. O'Connor, Robbie McCormack, blood bin, and here goes Robinson.
Robinson just halted on halfway by a copybook tackle from Harris. Sorry, Bill, back to you in a moment. This is Tony Smith. He gives it air to Andy Farrell. He then finds Danny Moore, and Danny Moore is grounded by Richie Blackmore. Mark Bell is in at dummy half. Horton wants it and gets it. Horton so disruptive for Leeds in matches against Wigan this year. A couple of fine tries from the Wigan man. Knock on, spotted by the touch judge at the play of the ball.
Well, yet another mistake that could be very costly. Well, I'm not so sure. It's hard to tell there from the hooker, Robbie McCormack.
He's the one pinged. It's on the last, it's the turnover, and here's Morley. Right, let's get back to Bill and news of Lee Gilmore.
Lee Gilmore just emerging from the dressing rooms and jogging down the side of the pitch at the moment, having had, I think, stitches in a gash on his eyebrow. The third Wigan player to need the attentions of the Wigan doctor, who's been very busy so far.
Yes, the Wigan players on and off the field being patched up. McCormack there with the headband on now. He's one of them. It does nothing really to settle down the game plan, does it?
Certainly disrupts them, but it just shows you the ferocity that Leeds are throwing into that defensive quality. They really are getting about. And it doesn't surprise me that the claret is flowing here at Old Trafford.
Harris just dabbed at the ball towards Robinson. He collects on his own try line. Leeds chase is good though. Well, it's a ferocious match here, and of course this is the last match of the domestic season. This time next week we'll be involved in test match action as Great Britain take on New Zealand in the series. McCormack and Anthony Farrell.
Through the elbow there, but he just had a pat on the head of Farrell, said it certainly wasn't intentional.
This is Mestrov. Tracked by Terry Newton and hauled to the ground by the collar. Connolly is the dummy half. He's flicked it into the arms of Paul. Henry Paul, jinking run. Still going Paul. Flicks it back. Where's the second phase of attack? It's from Cowie.
Back to 6.
It is. 6 more here for Wigan. Well, Neil Cowie, the reluctant hero then with the hack downfield. 6 more tackles for Wigan. They've got it with Farrell.
But that break from Henry Paul, he was looking for support. There was nobody there.
Gilmore's back, and here he is. All wrapped up, though, by Adrian Morley. McCormack. Paul will switch the direction of the attack with Radlinski. Here's Horton. Trying to blockbuster his way through 2 defenders. Leeds could have been penalised then. Referee's patience holds. This is Mestrov. He spins and he gets the ball away. Risky business, but still Wigan keep it alive. Horton, dangerous from broken play this. Newton and Anthony Farrell working overtime in defence. Here's Andy Farrell. Delayed, gave it to Moore. Blackmore missed him. The next man in most certainly didn't. Darryl Powell. Smith, long kick. Out wide looking for Robinson. Oh, and it beat Cummings and it beat Robinson. And if Robinson would have touched that, that would have been a try.
Beautiful kick forward there, and you can see that Cummings, who really does have a problem with the high ball. Robinson disappears out of the camera range, but that was the best chance Wigan have had in this first half.
Beautiful kick across field. Well, Wigan needing a little inspiration from somewhere. I wonder that, or wonder whether that was the moment. 5 minutes to half time. Leeds are ahead by 4 points to 0. Here's Powell. Good tackle by Danny Moore. Blackmore will attack them down the short side. Good strong run from the Kiwi. The try scorer. Newton to Sheridan. On it goes to Anthony Farrell. He loses it. The ball came out and it was brilliantly seized on by Farrell. So Wigan will launch again. Here's Henry Paul. Great tackle by Morley.
Well, there you can see the ball trying to be forced there in an awkward position.
Leeds offside.
Well, Leeds really are falling for the 5-card trick. Lack of composure when for most of this first half they've been in charge of the match.
Leeds defensive line then like a dog's hind leg.
But not only that, the previous play trying to keep the ball alive. I mean, they're the side that are in front. Wigan have to play the catch-up football.
Danny Moore is desperate apparently to get off the field. He has a problem. And so here now is Horton. Wigan for the moment with 12 men, but Paul Johnson now replaces Danny Moore. So the teenager comes on for the experienced head. This is Radlinski. Great tackle from Brad Godden.
Beautiful play there by the Australian centre. He was not going to be kidded by Radlinski coming on the angle.
Robinson! Robinson! What a try! Billy Weirs with a try under the sticks. Well, he's been quiet. this season by his own high standards, Jason Robinson. But he just ghosted into the attack then, and he evaded the capture of 3 Leeds defenders, and he shot over the line. The Lance Todd Trophy winner against Leeds at Wembley in '95 has done it again.
Billy the Waves, he has a habit of doing this, doesn't he? In and out. There was 5 men there. It was not the best attempt. They missed him. And for once, the Leeds defence, in fact, the only time they've done this throughout this first half, they held off rather than forcing the man to do what they wanted to do. Robinson says, I'll put Wigan not only back in this game, but surely now in front.
The first try for Jason Robinson in 1998 in 5 matches. And there is Billy Whiz, Jason Robinson of the Wigan Warriors. So Andy Farrell now has the opportunity to add to his goal tally. And Andy Farrell, who has won the Harry Sunderland Award as man of the match here for the past 2 Premiership finals, will join an elite band of players to play and score in every one of his team's games in a season if he kicks this. More important on his mind, though, is the 2 points that will edge Wigan ahead. Farrell joins the band, but more importantly, propels Wigan into a 2-point lead.
There's the 4 defenders. You can see the fullback circled, and look at the gap out wide. Once he gets to them, they stop. Now what's he going to do? It's a bad miss by Fleary, and this guy has all the speed in the world. Give him half a chance, and that's what they did. Perhaps only the second chance for Wigan in this first half. And the Warriors have the lead.
And Graham Murray knows his men have been caught just before half-time. And how often do Wigan do that? Score right on the bell. Penalties. Wigan have had 8 and Leeds just the 3.
Well, you've got to go back to the fact when Leeds tried to force that football, it allowed Wigan to regain possession, apply the pressure. It was a bad mistake to come up with.
Newton dummy half. Matthew gives it some air now to Harris. Harris to Godden. Cummins is on his way, but he's quickly closed down by Gary Connolly and Andy Farrell. Last half minute of the first half. Here's Harris again. Flicked it to nobody. Leeds retain possession. Well, they did until Sheridan put it down.
All that good work just completely wasted by the little halfback. And that try, I'm afraid, has rocked the Leeds Rhinos. He knows it was a vital error there with barely seconds remaining. It would have been them that would have gone into half-time with a big boost. But it's Wigan.
Henry Paul has hammered it downfield because he knows that the ball had to get down that end because it was probably the last moment. It went out on the full. That's the last action of this first half. And the Wigan players having a right go at Henry Paul, and he's pointing to the clock and saying, look, there were only a few seconds remaining. But Jason Robinson's try has put Wigan back in this match. The Leeds-born winger for Wigan has done it again against the Rhinos. 2 minutes from half-time, Robinson's try and Farrell's conversion have given Wigan a 6-4 lead.
But I must say it's interesting to note that it looks like Marcus St-Hilaire is out there, so Graham Murray perhaps is pushing Justin Harris to stand off very early.
Yes, we shall see. Oh, Morley went on a hunt then for Mestrov and missed him. But fortunately for Leeds, Glanville and Godden were there to bring him down. Now then, here's Jason Robinson again. And from a British point of view, bearing in mind next week's Test series that is due to start against the Kiwis, wasn't that try sweet to watch? I hope he will torment the Kiwis just as much as he tormented Leeds in that moment next weekend. This is Simon Horton now, and a great tackle from Richie Blackmore. Will Richie Blackmore feature in the Test series? Graham Murray, as coach, wasn't too sure last night. He certainly is playing through the pain barrier. Now then, Wigan put it down. That was a knock-on by the captain, Andy Farrell stretched, just couldn't get it in.
Just a little bit too forward there, and the skipper is fuming.
He is, because it was on the last, it's the turnover, so Leeds in great position to build with this set of 6. That'll Powell, the man to be replaced by Marcus St. Hilaire. Now then, this is Matthew, so we will assume that Iestyn Harris has moved forward to the standoff role. This is Glanville, and Harris is up there with the attack. Marcus St. Hilaire is playing at fullback. Number 1, Iestyn Harris, waiting here and gets it now at standoff. Offloads the ball. Now then, St. Hilaire, back it goes to Godden. And Marcus St. Hilaire now is the dummy half. This is Ryan Sheridan. Here's Darren Fleary. And Fleary strongly will run at Mestrov, who stood his ground. Newton to Matthew. Matthew then on to Harris. Stabs it through, looking for the runner. Oh, and it nearly held up. Anthony Farrell was hunting, and the casual Chris Radlinski just sidestepped the ball out.
Beautiful little kick through there by Harris. Well weighted. Radlinski took no gamble with that.
Forcing the goal line drop out, the kick from Iestyn Harris. 2 minutes of the second half gone. Wigan 6, Leeds 4. Harris, does he have the key to Leeds' first championship success since 1972?
Well,
Morley underneath the dropout.
It certainly worked for the coach, Graham Murray. Oh, that's a bad mistake by Morley. It was a big hit. I think it was Mestrov that really got into him. It was. It put the shoulder to him.
Morley was fearless with the run, but he lost the ball. And Mestrov, when he went down, just patted him on the back. Welcome to the grand final.
What I was about to say, that throughout this season, the switch of Harris to stand off, usually midway through the second half. On this occasion, at the half-time break.
Andy Farrell's away. Cummings is after him, and Cummings gets him. But Andy Farrell has put Wigan into a commanding position in this early moments of the second half. Long ball out wide, and it finds Bell on the bounce. Blackmore's been massive in defence so far for the Rhinos. Here's Cowie.
Golden opportunity there. Farrell took them down on the right-hand side, and that's another mistake.
It bounced off the knee. Oh, and it nearly bounced off the arms of Morley. It did. So the referee, I think, will play the first one. Or was it off the knees or off the hands of McCormack? This is a big call.
It was off the leg, so this should be a head and feed to Wigan. His call for the touch, judge. Cowie offloads, and he came off his knees, so therefore it's play on. And Leeds came up with the first knock on.
The referee wants to know. He's now talking to the touch judge on this side.
You couldn't tell.
And neither of them could tell, I don't think. They're not allowed to look at the. They're not allowed to look at the big screen. But neither touch judge was convinced. But Russell Smith gives head and feet to Wigan.
He's got it right now. Well, that's silly from Iestyn Harris to start arguing with the official. They should be more content in getting their defence in order rather than losing the plot at a vital time.
This is a vital time. That could be a big call from Russell Smith. This is Tony Smith.
Pretty hard to get past a man called Mark Glanville. Smith threw one. That's silly. I think Wigan have thrown away a golden opportunity. I think Smith has had a go at Glanville.
No, it's going to be, by the sound of things, the Leeds man is penalised.
Oh yeah, he moved it there. Well spotted by the touch judge. And that stupid frame from Glanville. I thought that Tony Smith had taken offence to the way that Glanville had really put the shoulder into him. It was a great hit.
Well, he's had a magnificent match, Glanville, to that moment.
But just lost control there. The loose forward. Played in a successful grand final win down under last year, of course, Mark Glanville. Will it be a double here? Be difficult if this guy pops this one over.
This is the angle that Andy Farrell's looking at as he tries to pop over this penalty goal and add 2 more points to that Wigan total. Nothing certain in conditions like these. You can see the rain is falling heavily again. Farrell going through the ritual, talking to himself, cajoling this ball over the top of the bar, he hopes. 2 more points to Wigan, 2 more points to Farrell. Wigan 8, Leeds 4.
And it could prove a vital error by Mark Glanville. Wigan fans happy, rightly so. He'll feel a little bit more content because he knew for the majority of the first half that Leeds were giving his side the real runaround. But he's the man in control. He's the man in charge of the players that are leading 8-4.
And Farrell will restart. Low into the arms of Morley. Morley being hunted here by Cowie and by Mestrov.
Morley caught one then. Cowie, I think.
They put the ball down. Glanville loses possession. Is it all going off the rails for the Rhinos?
Big hit though by Henry Paul, but I think Cowie was lucky enough to get away with not being spotted by the officials. He put in a big hit early and Morley felt it.
That's Cowie. And Graham Murray will be telling his players to hold on to the football if they possibly can, but this is intense stuff. This is pressure. This is the pressure of a grand final.
Release, hands off, hands off.
Farrell and Fleary wrestle Mestrov to the floor. McCormack to Smith, to Paul, who straightens it up. Matthew gets to him, and they wrestle Henry Paul to the ground.
It's getting very nasty out there. Elbows going in.
McCormack to Farrell. He gives it width to Horton. Great tackle by Yestin Harris. Farrell's starting to take control. This is Tony Smith. Dabs it through. Back it comes still. It's on the last tackle, says the referee. It's with Cowie. So he hoists the bomb. And who wants it? Who wants it? Bell wants it. Did Bell get it down? The Wigan supporters say he did. The referee will hand it on to the video ref. Offside and grounding. Now then, this is the first decision for the video ref in the inaugural grand final.
Well, there's Cowie with the football.
Well, there's a host of them ahead of him.
But if they don't interfere, we've got to find out which one it is, and I think Mark Bell is onside. There's the number 5 at the bottom of your screen, and I think he's... But they are not plenty in front, but as long as they keep away 10 metres from the man who goes for the football, then that's okay. But did he ground it? I think he did. It bobbled. Bell got it. Harris got it. Bell took it back. 1-on-1, that's fine. And I think the Australian winger is going to be awarded the try. Are they going to call it a knock-on? And that's another reason why they're looking at that. He bobbles it. It goes into Harris. Ooh, this is a big call.
Is it ever? Now then, does he get it down?
I don't think there's any trouble with that. That's all right, but the crowd don't realise that it could be deemed a knock-on from Bell. Did he have control? Now, when it hits Harris's chest, remember, a knock-on does not have to hit the ground.
Well, the video referee has got probably the biggest call of the year. And what they're looking at here is this incident, whether Mark Bell, does it bounce off Harris or does it bounce off Bell?
Now, this is okay until this point here. He loses it, it hits Harris. They've got to deem whether Harris has gone for the football, if he's got it, and then Bell takes it off him. Oh, this is probably...
The knock-on cannot be nullified by the opposition player.
Well, if that's the case, then this will be no try. And listen to the Wigan fans if that's the case.
Well, this is the biggest call from the video referee in years. The try's denied, and it's a 20-metre place kick. It's a knock-on against Mark Bell in his farewell performance. Well, that will rattle a cage or two.
Oh, brother. And I must say the video referee has got it right. He's deemed that just because the ball hit Harris's chest, he didn't have the opportunity to gather it. So therefore it's a knock-on. He's got it right.
What a big call from the video referee that was. John Money, I can tell you on this side of the field, he probably cannot see the big screen. Not as well as the people behind the posts who were celebrating at one stage, the Wigan fans. Now they are holding their heads in their hands. What a massive call that was.
Certainly was, and Neil Cowie, the man who lofted the high kick, he's come off the field.
And this is Robinson underneath the kick, which was from Darren Fleary of all people.
Well, it's
changed
catching.
by Leeds, Holroyd's come on.
Short is catching. Last two kicks have come from two prop forwards. That will not please either coach.
Cowie's now off the field, of course. This is Paul Johnson, one of the nominees for Young Player of the Year. Here's Gary Connolly.
A little bit more zip in the Wigan play now. Obviously, the confidence of having a 4-point lead certainly helps their cause.
And what's more, they've been stung by that decision from the video ref. And second half possession is all Wigan's so far. And here they come again with the captain, Farrell. Flicks it back to McCormack. On it goes to Radlinski. Here's Connolly. Connolly gives it to Smith. And a good job that Jamie Matthew was there for the Rhinos.
Could have been a try saver that. I know it was a long way out.
This is the last tackle. Farrell will have to kick and does all along the ground. Robinson's hurling after it. Ball beats him and Marcus St. Hilaire.
Bit of a problem there perhaps for the Wigan skipper. Collided after the kick was put in. Put under a little bit of pressure. Just shook the right leg.
And Jamie Matthew is struggling. He's receiving treatment as this scrum forms. The referee has stopped the clock. Be a blow if Matthew goes off, but he looks not terribly well at the moment.
Well, it was Wigan that was having the problems in the first half, with three players going off to have stitches. Certainly would have disrupted them.
Matthew certainly had the wind taken out of his sails by something. Referee allowing him the time to recover.
There's Connolly, the pass back on the inside. But what a great tackle there from Jamie Matthew. It had to be. He's pretty fast, this Tony Smith.
Well, Matthew is plodding back to the scrum. It's Leeds who have the head and feed. Holroyd playing at scrum half will feed. On as a sub. Out it comes. Here's Harris. Wider it goes. Dangerous, risky business from Leeds. 5 metres from their own half. St. Hilaire hangs on. From their own try line, rather. Blackmore. Good tackling by Leeds, this. Here comes Morley. Whoops. Not standing. Was it not standing square at the play of the ball?
Certainly was. Leeds want to get on with it. Ooh, that just made it in the end.
Not standing square at the play of the ball. The rain is heaving down again as Matthew drives it in. Gilmore stood in front of him. Sheridan to Holroyd. Here now is Fleary. And Fleary lost it, but it went backwards. St. Hilaire continues the run.
Good call by the official Russell Smith there.
Holroyd now gives it to Harris. Harris out wide, it goes to Godden. Godden to Cummins, and he's dumped to the ground. How did he hang on to that football? Francis Cummins. Harris to Morley. Morley is enveloped by the tackle of Tony Mestrov. That's how close Leeds are. This is Godden. Oh, he fired it into almost the touch judge's face.
Opportunity there. How many times have we seen Justin Harris do this on the blind side? The chance was there, but full credit to Robinson. He was not going to leave Francis Cummins any opportunity. But Cummins did so well. Not only did he hold onto the football in extreme bad conditions, rain is absolutely pelting down here, but he just sidestepped and jumped right over the top. Here's the offload. Watch him go here. Oh, that's brave.
How on earth did he hold on to that? But he did. So it stays 8-4. Second half of the grand final. Wigan just ahead. Cowie comes on for Mestrov. As Wigan come forward again with Horton. Tackled by Jamie Matthew. Here's Robinson again. To the halfway line.
Now remember, in these conditions it really does sap the energy, and Wigan have had plenty of time to recover.
Use of the elbow there by O'Connor, and Blackmore didn't like it.
More than all in.
O'Connor led with the forearm, and the referee blew the whistle, and O'Connor took exception to it.
Well, it was picked up by the official. Doesn't want to take matters into his own hands. And there you see it, right into the jaw of Blackmore. Well, I've seen him being sent off for this. It's a big call there for Russell Smith.
From where I was, I saw a leading arm from Terry O'Connor. Forehand, leading arm, he actually caught the Leeds man in the head. Back off, Faz.
Referee and touch judge discussing this.
After that, really, they're pushing the shove on nothing on the floor.
That's right.
Seen it any different?
No, I couldn't pick anything up after that first one.
He's linked with the forehand.
Well, it's Terry O'Connor who's being patched up after the initial fight.
But we've got to be careful, Terry. You've got the ball, you're leading forehand first, you've got to get him down.
So, penalty to Leeds. But O'Connor stays on the field.
Tense times for the coach, Graham Murray, but that could see the scales swing towards the Rhinos. To give away a penalty whilst in possession really is a big sin.
This is Anthony Farrell. Andy Hay has come on. Remember, Andy Hay was the match winner at Headingley in the match in the weekly rounds. This is Harris. Back it goes to Morley. Oh, and Morley loses again.
No advantage.
I think Morley then nearly cleaned out Brad Godden.
Well, there's been a big effort from the big second rower, Adrian Morley. They're trying to force that pass. Of course, they have to. Clock ticking away. They can't waste time. They've got to try to grab those extra 4 points.
Now Morley is not having the best of times out there in this grand final.
Just saying,
dropped the ball a few times in this second half.
Big effort by Morley. A lot of people thought perhaps when he got that injured shoulder that he'd be out for the full season.
So it's Wigan who are back in possession. Radlinski plays the ball. Good drive in there by Paul Johnson. McCormack again, Tony Smith, Neil Cowie. Desperate times for these two sides as somebody tries to put daylight between them and the opposition. And Cowie took exception to the challenge from Sheridan, who's in there again now with Matthew to bring Andy Farrell down. Robinson from dummy half will scamper away once more.
That's starting to take the toll as well. Robinson making himself available in that dummy half position.
That's great defence from Leeds. And Radlinski just had to fly hack the ball downfield, and Marcus St. Hilaire, they got away with it, Wigan.
Sure did. If it had an air swing there, it was open run there for the Leeds players. Big gamble by Radlinski.
Had to do it though, didn't he? On the last tackle. Cummins, who's been fairly quiet, has come in field looking for work as Hay drives it in for Leeds. That wasn't played properly. That's going to be a penalty to Wigan. Hay claiming he was impeded.
Just too eager, trying to get on with it. Could see that the Wigan defence was slow, especially in the marker position. That's the reason why they want to do it. But again, the mistakes coming fast and furious. It's composure time. That's what's needed by the Wigan side, and I'm sure that John Money, the coach, would have got that message out. Let's just drive it for perhaps 3 or 4, and maybe if we're in a good position, go for that 1 point.
Remember, Wigan started this season as the pre-tournament favourites. Here they are at grand final under John Money, up against the team that ran them the closest in the weekly rounds. And O'Connor with the headband now after that brush with Richie Blackmore. Here's Smith up the middle, he goes. Hay gets to him. McCormack at dummy half. It's with Farrell. He flicks it into the arms of Henry Paul. Back it goes again. Wigan trying to build from deep. And this is Robinson. Almost through again, Robinson. Telling tackle from Glanville. One of many that the Leeds loose forwards put in tonight. McCormack. Paul, quick hands. Mile forward.
Yep.
Mile forward.
And picked up by Russell Smith. Leeds crowd say yay. Wigan fans say nay. But you can see quite clearly there The ball out wide to Paul Johnson.
You see, isn't it deceptive? That didn't look anything at all like it was from this side. It was certainly forward, but it was a mile forward from this side of the pitch, not so from over there.
Well, the markings proved it, didn't it?
Yes. This is St. Hilaire, and a good job that Connolly got to him. Gordon's gone off. Now that could be a big switch by Leeds.
Farrell have gone too high. And Darryl Powell is coming for some treatment throughout this match.
But I wonder what's up with Brad Godden. Bill has the news.
Brad Godden's just limped wearily from the pitch. He went into this game with the suspicion of an injury. He's lasted this long, but they've decided that time has come for him to come off.
So it's Powell who's on for him, and there he is, giving it to Matthew. Matthew almost through, and they held on to him somehow, that defence. Leeds starting to turn the screw again. Here's Holroyd. He gives it to Harris. Harris out wide, it goes to Blackmore. That was forward to Rivett. But Rivett had run into touch anyway.
Well, the pressure is on. Blackmore desperately trying to get the ball there, but little doubt about the fact that the New Zealander did offload and it was forward. You can see Rivett having to lean forward.
Well, Blackmore trying to find space out wide for his winger, but I wonder whether he should have held on.
Well, it surprised me that Wigan, when they were in a good position, did not go for that 1 point.
At that point, Leeds had 4 tackles left in that set of 6. So here come Wigan again with Henry Paul.
Safety first yet again. Just one runner, nothing fancy.
Gilmore does brilliantly well, finds McCormack. He's all wrapped up by Matthew and by Anthony Farrell. Robinson. Danger for Leeds every time this fella has the ball. Robinson. Oh, does so well. Gilmore again. Holroyd's after him. Oh, now Holroyd went in then and dropped on him. And Wigan didn't like it, neither did Gilmore.
Officials didn't see it either. Well, Leeds have got to keep their composure too. You'll see here, Holroyd definitely went down with the right elbow.
Wigan under pressure to get the ball out of the defence, so Radlinski hoists the kick downfield, well collected by Francis Cummins. And Cummins now, but he's got Connolly after him.
Well, it wasn't the best kick, but the chase was there. That was important. He got back in time there, Robinson. Holroyd trying to test the winger, but he was equal to that task.
Great work there by Matthew with the tackle on Radlinski. Here's Mark Bell. Denied a try, Mark Bell on his curtain call for Wigan.
Bit of a punch thrown there at the play of the ball. Leeds are becoming frustrated.
We're in the last quarter of this grand final. Wigan, remember, with 1 match in a month. Leeds having had those 3 torrid battles, Halifax, Saints and Wigan at Central Park 2 weeks ago. But at the moment, they're standing and slugging it out toe-to-toe. Great kick from Farrell, that will stay in the field of play. Cummins must move this ball back upfield. But the wall has arrived, and Connolly gets to him.
Well, that one kick from Andy Farrell made up for all the poor ones that he did in the first half. You could see that the fullback was out of position. Marcus St. Hilaire made sure that it dissected the fullback and the winger. The chase yet again was good.
So here come Leeds with Anthony Farrell and his elbow in the throat of Simon Horton. Cowie came in and finished him off. Harris is back at fullback, we're told, but at the moment he's chiming into the line, and here he is. He's just given the ball to Marcus St. Hilaire. The tackle is completed standing up. Harris at dummy half, gives it to Darryl Powell. Darryl Powell, little half break from him. That's the last tackle in this set of 6 for Leeds. It's with Ryan Sheridan, who's running it on the power play. Hacks it forward. No penalty. Was stopped in his tracks, couldn't follow up, so Radlinski had the easiest job. And Morley comes up and picks him out.
clean up there from Morley, straight on Redlinski, but
Here's
look at
Robinson.
go!
Leroy Event got to him.
This is a big hit from the big Leeds second rower. But Robinson is proving to be the difference, especially when he runs into dummy half.
This is McCormack. Back it comes to Tony Smith. He bounces off Hay. Hay comes back for a second snap. Jason Robinson, those 5 runs from dummy half have been crucial to the Wigan cause. Penalty to Wigan now. Matthew can't believe the call from the referee.
Well,
I think Andy Hay was hard
Hay.
done by.
Well, it was his knee, but the rules state it's a 50-50 call yet again, but the rules state you've got to roll away, not into the man with the football. After you've completed the tackle, away, not in.
O'Connor and McCormack looking like 2 Indian warriors out there for the Wigan Warriors. Gilmore can't get away from Powell. He's finished off by Matthew. Cassidy has come on for Wigan again. Here's Connolly. Sheridan gets to him, but he drags 2 players into him and offloads to Tony Smith, who in turn offloads again. And this is good stuff from Wigan. They're building here. This is Paul. Henry Paul. Takes something to put him down. Desperate moments for Graham Murray and the Leeds Rhinos. Connolly scampers away from dummy half to the 20-metre mark. The gum shield of Connolly shoots out. Looks like it might be broken too. Farrell. Back on the inside to Gilmore. Gilmore back to Cassidy. He puts it down under the intense pressure of this grand final.
Well, the Wigan loose forward, Andrew Farrell, is absolutely furious. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to drive in and go for the 1 point. That would have meant that Leeds, to win this game, would have had to have a converted try. He was furious in his charges. Cassidy comes up with a mistake.
Well, if anyone in this crowd is used to low-scoring grand finals, it's the Wigan coach, John Money. He's taken part in 2 down under. He lost 6-4 in one, and then he won 4-2 in another. So, John Money knows what it takes to win low-scoring grand finals. How about the players? And will the last quarter of an hour just tip the balance one way or the other? The stamina must tell. It must do, surely, in conditions like this.
Well, you'd think so, and Wigan would have to be favourites. Only 1 game in a month.
But here comes Harris for Leeds now. Drilled to the ground by Gilmore. Last tackle here, Blackmore. Oh, he threw it to nobody. That ball went backwards. Oh, and Wigan are after it. But it's hacked downfield. And Robinson picks it up for Wigan again. It goes past Farrell. Robinson could be the match winner here for Wigan. He's gone past Blackmore, he's dancing, he's jinking.
And he's back to his best. It was that wonderful run that put Wigan back into this game just before half-time. And Robinson has just turned the screw slowly but surely in the second half.
Here's Farrell. Andy Hay got to him with Anthony Farrell. 2 tackles gone. This is Tony Smith. Tony Smith. Play on, says the referee. Leeds released him. They thought the tackle had been made. He wasn't held. The ball carrying arm didn't hit the deck. The coach is making changes all over the shop here as Cassidy drives in for Wigan again. Connolly to Henry Paul. Henry Paul back to Connolly once more. Here's Radlinski. Wigan teasing this Leeds defence. It's with Johnson.
Well, will they go for it? Where's Andy Farrell?
It's with Tony Smith. Ball went behind him. Referee calls it as a knock-on, as you did, Steve-O.
Well, he was setting up for it, and it went right over the top. I think it might be hardly done by there. I know I call it as a knock-on, but it appeared to go right over the top of him. Certainly touched it. Plenty of tension, plenty of pressure out there.
Indeed so. This game can still be won and lost, and maybe that's a crucial moment. Marcus St. Hilaire puts it down.
Are they getting tired? Just losing their concentration.
They must be. Well, look at this crowd here at Old Trafford tonight, 43,500. It's the biggest attendance for an Old Trafford final since the game moved here, and certainly since 1991, when Hull beat Widnes in the old Premiership final. 42,000 were inside here that day. There have been some of us who have been confident we'd get that sort of crowd inside Old Trafford for this meeting of the giants, and so we have. And the decision to move to a grand final playoff system completely vindicated tonight.
He's
Saturday night under the lights at the Theatre of Dreams.
All over the place, isn't he, Jason Robinson? He's starting to enjoy himself there. I think he has a sneaky suspicion that the Warriors are going to hold on for this one.
O'Connor, look at the legs. Pump, pump, pump. 2 or 3 more priceless meters. Wigan camped underneath the post now. Smith called for it and got it. And Smith goes through a hole, and somehow Graham Holroyd held on. This is the last tackle. It's with Farrell, is it? It is, but they're going for the run on it. Out wide it goes. Good quick hands. Good quick hands. He's tackled now. Is Johnson.
Well, I can't believe that Wigan went for the power play there. Perhaps they felt that that try would have finished them off completely. But I think the 1 point would have done it just as easy. There's still hope for Leeds. They've got to gamble. They've got to keep this ball alive. The clock is against them all the way down to that 80-minute mark.
It just needs an inspiration from somewhere for Leeds, and it better come quickly. Wigan, massive possession in this second half, but just the one penalty goal from Andy Farrell to show for all that pressure. And Holroyd hammers the ball downfield. It stands up and it eludes at Mark Bell, but Bell's happy that will go out of the field of play. The clock will tick down.
Nice effort from the substitute Graham Holroyd. And the experience from Bell, allowing the ball to go over the whitewash. Trying to gee each other up now, saying that let's get into them, let's try to force that mistake. Wigan quite happy to just take their time to form the scrum.
Well, all the blood, sweat and tears of a season now hang on the last 10 minutes of the grand final here at Old Trafford. Henry Paul screaming at this Wigan side, cajoling them on for a last final effort, because he's got 10 more minutes left as Lee Gilmore goes off into the blood bin. 10 more minutes of a Wigan career for Henry Paul, because he says farewell after this grand final. Back comes Simon Horton.
The Wigan doctor has had to work overtime. I don't know how many stitches he's had to throw in during the course of this match. But it just shows you the impact, especially from the Leeds defence. And it looks like there's more problems for the Rhinos.
Yes, Jamie Matthews coming off, and he's limping his way to the sideline. He's put a big effort in since he came on. He's replaced by Martin Masella. Wigan with head and feet at the scrum and possession with Bell. This is Robinson. His try turned the game just before half-time. Wigan on half-way with Smith. Here's Horton. Leeds defending for all they're worth still.
Wigan fans, they've started to singing a victory song.
Henry Paul, beautiful pass, Smith to nobody. Oh, that was put down by O'Connor. And the referee, instead of putting the scrum down, wipes the tackle count clean.
Well,
Wigan have got 6 more.
Leeds were pretty badly done by then. That appeared to be a knock-on, but it's deemed that it went backwards. Now surely they'll go for the 1-pointer here.
This is Cassidy. And there's Connolly. And they're now 8 metres short of the line. Score here and Wigan could win the grand final. This is Smith, wrapped up by Holroyd. 4 tackles gone. Leeds have got 2 more to hang on. They're screaming for it out wide, but O'Connor drives it in towards the posts.
Watch for Farrell.
Farrell's lining up for the 1 point. No, they fooled them. Cassidy just held up short. Leeds were expecting the 1 point from Farrell, and Cassidy nearly ghosted in for a try. What a story that would have been.
Well, it was a good ploy. Farrell was standing so deep. Leeds expected it, but full credit to the scrambling defence. They came back. Well, Wigan want to finish Leeds off in a very grand final way, with a grand final flourish of a finish, but I would have gone for the 1 point, I'm telling you.
Here's Glanville. Aussie grand final winner 12 months ago. 4 points adrift at the moment. Harris gets the pass to St. Hilaire. St. Hilaire is pursued by Connolly. Good break though, and it's on the last for Leeds, so Harris must surely hoist the kick, and he does. That's too deep. Sails out on the full.
Under a lot of pressure, Justin Harris on the last, knew that he had to try to get it away, give his players the chance to at least apply the pressure. Wigan aren't too much in a hurry to get the ball back. You've just heard Russell Smith say time off.
Another blood bin. Terry O'Connor with that eye. Remember, he was involved in fisticuffs with Richie Blackmore earlier on. The last blood bin has been reversed, so Gilmore returns. This is Holgate, dumped to the ground by Anthony Farrell. Well, how many times have we seen the phrase blood bin on the screen tonight? Farrell! He's put it down, Radlinski. Leeds have got it back. No, they haven't. Radlinski got to it. And that was a big mistake. That was on the first tackle.
Well, it's amazing that they are trying to force a pass. Now, we saw Leeds do this just before the half-time break, which allowed the Warriors not only to get back into the game, but to actually be in front.
Can Leeds just now open the door? Just one try between the sides.
Good goal by Russell Smith there. He wasn't tackled, Justin Harris.
This is Blackmore. He's not tackled either. Blackmore drills it in again. He loses it. But the referee has ruled that somebody moved off the mark. Leeds penalty.
He allowed the advantage on forthcoming. More pressure. You could see there that they made no attempt. Bell was the one that was penalised.
So here they go. Leeds. 6 minutes left. This is Holroyd. Short ball to Hay. Leeds must come up with something special here, and can Powell present it to Holroyd? Now it's with Harris, man of steel Harris, through the hands and picked up by Leroy Rivett, and this Wigan defence again stands firm.
Wigan just hesitated there. They thought it was a forward pass.
Harris is almost through. So close. This Leeds Rhino. Sheridan now for the line.
Oh, he's lost it.
Ball shot out.
No advantage, head and feed to Wigan. Tense times for Graham Murray. Sheridan went for it.
Oh, and I think Radlinski had a hand in there.
I think it came off the knee of Radlinski. You'll see it was a knee that dislodged it.
I think that's the hand.
Don't see many thumbs on the kneecaps.
Hold on, lads.
So, Wigan with Henry Paul. Wrestled to the ground by Harris and St. Hilaire. Into the last 5 minutes. Here's Robinson again. Straight into Cummins. Cummins gets him with help from St. Hilaire once more.
Well, the clock is ticking down there.
Connolly.
I know it's tense out there, but what if Leeds do get back and score? I'm sure that the Wigan coach, John Money, will be furious at his charges and not taking any opportunity to go for a field goal.
McCormack to Smith, and Farrell just hammers the ball downfield. Anywhere will do now. He knows Wigan have the 4-point advantage. Cummins picks up 10 metres from his own line, and Cummins is eventually hauled down by Cassidy. That was a great chase.
Was it ever? Cassidy and Paul, and they've got to throw caution to the wind.
And here goes Rivett.
What a tackle there!
And Anderson, Johnson got the tackle in, and Rivett went without the ball, and the referee says play on.
Well, he's deemed that he's lost it and not forcefully passed it backwards. Either way, he could go back and regather it.
So here come Leeds now. They'll attack down the left-hand side. This is St. Hilaire, and it's desperate Wigan defence now. 3.5 minutes to go. Leeds fans' hearts must be missing a beat. So must Wigan.
What a tackle, though, from Paul Johnson to get back there. Leroy Rivette has got so much speed.
Powell on to Harris. They're examining that right-hand touchline again. Blackmore stabs it through. Radlinski's there. Radlinski wraps it up.
Great positioning by Radlinski, the Wigan full-back. He read it very strongly there. Swinging arm.
Anthony Farrell.
Lack of composure, and that could seal it. The referee has not stopped the clock. Whilst all this is going on, it's ticking away. And crack. Well, I've seen him send off for that. I know they're frustrated. They need the possession. Well, what a way to go out and retire, not knowing what on earth is going on. Because that's how he looks at the moment, Mark Bell. You see the trainer trying to say to him, do you know where you are? Probably say I'm on a beach somewhere in Queensland.
Well, he might be this time next week. John Money's off on his holidays, and tell you what, his nerve ends must be ragged at the end of this. Everybody's is at Old Trafford. We have 2.5 minutes of the 1998 season to go, and just 4 points between these two fine sides. 8-4, all that we wished of a grand final and then some.
Been so tense. This is really up the jumper time now for the Wigan Warriors. And of course, we just saw the Wigan coach, John Money. He's on the verge of a wonderful record. It's never been done before to win grand finals in Australia and now in this country. The first man to do that.
And here come, he's lost it. Gilmore lost that.
What a hit from Martin Masala. And this could be the final act. And Masala has given the Leeds Rhinos the one last gasp hope.
Well, Wigan won't be in any hurry to put the scrum down.
Leeds
Less
will.
than 2 minutes. That's why there was the schmozzle going on for the football. Now then, this is Leeds' last throw with Harris. Yestin Harris, great run, dragging Cummings back into it. Wonderful tackle. Great tackle from Henry Paul. Harris again. Glanville. Powell. Wigan is stretched out wide. Puts the ball down, and that's the ball game.
They had the overlap as well. That's what makes it so cruel. He's thrown the arm as Holroyd. He's completely thrown it away with two actions within the space of 10 seconds. One, he dropped the ball, and the coach, Graham Murray, knows it.
He does. He knows that that's probably the match.
Sheer lack of concentration.
And Farrell will have a shot at goal, the consummate professional.
Look at that. Stupidity from Holroyd.
No matter what happens here, I think Farrell will at least do his best to get the ball dead.
And he'll take his time.
Because the clock is ticking down. And John Money will go home with this grand final in his pocket.
He knows it too. He'll just be thinking, come on, Andy, make sure the power is there. Doesn't matter if you kick it or not, as long as it goes directly into the crowd. So therefore, Leeds will have to drop out from underneath the sticks.
Well, it's not a snooker referee that polishing the trophy, but I think it's soon going to be on its way to John Money and Central Park. It certainly will be if this sails over, and with so little time remaining, it's got to be Wigan's night now. Farrell gives it some air. That's 3 from Farrell. The smile tells you that at 10 points to 4, the Wigan Warriors are the champions of 1998.
Now then, it's important that they do not kick this ball out on the full. That's it.
That's what it means to Andy Farrell and Henry Paul and the entire Wigan side. Wigan are the champions of 1998. Farrell has kicked them to glory. What an effort from the Leeds Rhinos. They, remember, took the lead with the Blackmore try after 20 minutes, but the smile will prevail on John Money's face. And 10 points to 4 is the final score. Distraught and disconsolate, the Leeds Rhinos. Darryl Powell, twice before he scored hat-tricks on this ground in the divisional premiership final. Tonight he ends up on the losing side. But the full drama of this 1998 season has unfolded here. And winners are grinners. Yestin Harris, who said he would give away all the awards he's picked up over the past 7 days if he could go home with the grand final and the Super League trophy, has finished up on the losing side. So disappointed, but how different this fellow must feel. Andy Farrell's with Bill.
Shake of their heads, a sigh of relief. A relieved man, I should think.
Absolutely exhausted, I'll tell you what. Is that what grand final football's all about? I want to be here every year. The atmosphere, the game itself, absolutely outstanding game. Both teams absolutely marvellous tonight.
Well, I mean, 3 games before now have been pretty fierce, but that was the business.
See, you play all year for this, and all your season comes down to this, and you have to be desperate in grand finals. We didn't perform too well in the first half, but the second half, it was really desperate, and we showed we wanted it.
And you could see at the end from the reaction of your guys just how much this meant to you. This is what you've been going for all season, wasn't it?
We wanted to finish top first of all, to give ourselves a chance to come to this grand final, and we've done that. We've done it the best way around, you know, and we've ended up winning it. And you know, all credit to everybody at Wigan. We've all pulled together, and this one's for everybody at the club.
And what opponents, eh?
Absolutely marvellous the way that the Leeds teams turn around this year. You know, some players had outstanding seasons. The coach is on magnificent. The rain's coming down, but I'm not bothered.
Thanks, Andy. Well done.
Well, Jason Robinson's try turned it right on the stroke of half-time, but Yestin Harris, he has been smiling all week. He's not smiling right now. John Money is. The Wigan Warriors have won by 10 points to 4. And Marty Hume embraces his coach.
Yestin Harris, can you sum up how you feel now?
Well, there's not much to say really, just congratulations to Wigan. You know, they probably deserved it on the day. We didn't have the perfect game. You know, but thanks to all our crowd for supporting us all year. It's been an absolute pleasure playing in front of them.
Now, can you really sum up what it was like those last few minutes when you knew you really had to get over that line?
Well, you know, we knew we had to do everything out. You know, when we couldn't score, you know, it was devastating for us. We've had a really good season, but you know, we didn't top it off tonight. So hopefully we can do one better next year.
It was a game that really summed up what the season was all about: close and tense.
Yeah, it was close and tense, and it wasn't the prettiest of games, obviously with the weather. But you know, we've come all the way to the grand final now, and it's obviously disappointing to lose. But like I said, we'll look forward to another good season next year.
I'm happy that Leeds really gave their all out there.
Yeah, we did give our all. We didn't play like I said, we didn't play the perfect game. We gave 100% effort. You know, probably our tactics were a little bit wrong in that second half. You know, maybe with all the drop balls, but never mind. It goes that way.
Just a word for Wigan.
Pardon?
What about Wigan? They played well, didn't they?
Yeah, Wigan played exceptionally well in the conditions. It was a very tough game to play, and you know, they control the ball better than us, so they deserve it on the day.
Thanks, Yestin.
Gracious in defeat, Yestin Harris, the Leeds Rhinos skipper. And while he was talking, his interview going out on the PA here at Old Trafford, Anthony Farrell in floods of tears, and all the Leeds teammates went to the Leeds supporters and thanked them for their support, both here at Old Trafford and indeed throughout the course of this season. What a match, what a night, and what a way for Henry Paul to bow out and go across the Pennines to Odsal and the Bradford Bulls. Well, Andy Goodway and Henry Paul won't be embracing this time next week. Great Britain coach and Kiwi star. But the biggest prize in the game has gone to Wigan. They began as pre-season favourites, Steve-O, and they have come up with the goods when it matters.
Well, it was a gutsy performance by the Wigan Warriors. They realised they did not play all that well in that first half. Robinson was the key man. He got them back into the match, but slowly but surely, the Leeds side, they tired. They started to make the mistakes, and the power play and the forwards from Wigan was absolutely outstanding.
Leeds are disconsolate. But let's now join Ian Robson from Super League Europe for the presentation ceremony to winners, losers, and the man of the match.
An occasion such as this, an historic inaugural grand final, calls for 3 ingredients: a magnificent venue and 2 Two fantastic teams fighting out a magnificent contest. We've just seen a magnificent rugby league contest. Please acknowledge the Leeds Rhinos and your champion Wigan Warriors. We have presentations to make, and the first presentation, voted on as tradition calls, the Harry Sunderland Trophy for the man of the match. It gives me great pleasure to announce that it has been won by Jason Robinson.
Jason Robinson receiving the Harry Sunderland Trophy as man of the match from Dave Whelan, the chairman of JJB Sports, the sponsors.
I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight, especially to all the supporters. It's been a great year for us, and what a great thing to cap it off with a grand final win. So thanks again. See you later.
We mustn't, of course, forget the officials. I'd like to call forward the match officials to receive their medals of appreciation. Mr. Russell Smith, the touch judges, Mr. Frank Hawley, Mr. Paul Hewitt, and the reserve official, Mr. Steve Presley.
Well, a highly predictable welcome for Russell Smith and his team of officials, but Russell Smith deservedly winning the Referee of the Year award, and his touch judges have done a fine job as well. Not too much controversy out there. The only questionable decision really coming on the back of the video referee.
On occasions such as this, no matter how magnificent, there must be a winner and there must be a loser. It's been a fantastic season for the Leeds Rhinos and their captain, Euston Harris. I would like now to ask Euston to come forward to say a few words on behalf of his team as they then collect their medallions.
Well, Euston's already been interviewed by Angela Powers. Now he leads his men up, although the Leeds team look a little reluctant to join him. But he will talk first to the crowd and then will receive the silver medals.
Just like to thank all our fans for supporting us all year. They've been absolutely fantastic. Sorry we couldn't get a result for you, but maybe we can get it next year. You know, we'll have a big season next year. Maybe we can get it next year and lift the trophy. Thanks very much.
Euston will now receive his medal. Can I call on the rest of his teammates? Leroy Rivette, Richie Blackmore, Brad Godden, Francis Cummins to come forward and collect your medals, please. Darryl Powell, Ryan Sheridan, Martin Marcella, Terry Newton, Darren Fleary, Adrian Morley, Anthony Farrell, Mark Glanville, Jamie Mathau, Graham Holroyd, Andy Hay, Marcus St Hilaire, and finally Coach Graham Murray.
Well, they will be so disappointed, but they will point to the season that they have had. Mark Glanville, a winner this time last year with the Newcastle Knights Down Under. Darren Fleary, I wonder whether he will figure in the test next week. But there's the winning skipper, Andy Farrell. He most certainly will. Not only is he the Wigan captain, he's also, of course, the captain of Great Britain. And his kicks, really, the difference between the two sides at the end. Remember, Euston Harris missed a couple of shots in the first half. But Farrell, safe as houses, 3 from 3, including the one in the very last minute that absolutely sealed this Wigan victory. I wonder whether Farrell is now preparing his winner's speech as Graham Murray leaves centre stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now turn to our winners, the Wigan Warriors, and I call upon their captain, Andrew Farrell, to step forward to say a few words on behalf of his team before receiving the JJB Super League trophy.
First of all,
can I just thank our fans for turning out today. I know it's been an awful day, but I hope the victory just sweetens it a little bit for you. Secondly, can I just say a big thank you and our lines to Dennis Betts. Obviously he's out with a bad injury, but he's worked hard all year for us and he deserves something. This one's for you, Dennis, as well. Also, can I just say a big thank you and a big farewell to Henry Paul, Robin McCormack and Mark Bell. They've had magnificent seasons for Wigan Rugby League and they've helped to win the first grand final. Thanks very much, lads, and good luck. Last but not least, thanks to everybody, the coaching staff, the backroom staff, and most of all, the players. You know, we've all pulled together and we showed that we wanted this one. And thanks so very much, lads, for the effort today. Well done.
So Andy Farrell now turns and will receive...
Please acknowledge Andrew Farrell as he receives the JJB Super League trophy and is joined on stage after receiving his Super League champion ring by Chris Radlinski.
So Andy Farrell has got the trophy from Dave Whelan, gives it a kiss, and Wigan are the 1998 Super League champions. It's been a long, long road from the start of the season to this moment. They began as pre-season favourites, and of course they all now receive their commemorative grand final rings. And there's one Jason Robinson fan who will be delighted that he's won the Harry Sunderland Award.
Certainly will. It's been a great effort from him. He's ignited at the right time. And it augurs well, doesn't it, that Jason Robinson back to superb form. In the next 3 weeks, of course, he will be battling it out with the New Zealand Kiwis. Let's hope he produces champagne football like that in those 3 tests.
Well, Jason Robinson now joins the elite band to win both the Lance Todd and the Harry Sunderland Award. Men like Joe Lydon, Jeff Pimlett, George Nichols and Mick Burke. And Jason Robinson, it has been his stage, Old Trafford tonight. His try, 2 minutes from half-time, swung the match Wigan's way, but then, let's emphasise again, the goal-kicking of Andy Farrell booted Wigan to this championship.
Assistant coach Andy Goodway and conditioner Martin Hume.
Great moments for these players. All the emotion now will flood out, I'm sure. And of course they all have to do it again next week in the test match, particularly this fella Jason Robinson, who's with Bill.
Well, it's with Jason and Cameron as well, his young son. What a night for the Wigan Warriors, Jason.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. You know, to be the first grand final winners, you know, I'm speechless.
What about the game though? As tough as you must have expected.